I did complete Speaker for the Dead. Now, this is the sequel to Ender's Game. And I guess you would say light spoilers for Ender's Game here. Not very much, because I don't want to ruin that book for you, because it's, my second favorite sci-fi book of all time. But I was warned going into this, it's very, very different. So I expected that. And yes, I can confirm, guys, it is very, very different. I will say I did enjoy this book. I want people to understand that up front. Because people have automatically thought that I did not like it. And I have no idea why. Because yes, it was not going to surpass Ender's Game for me. That would be damn near impossible. But with this, it's very different in the regard of I want to know what happens in the aftermath of Ender's Game. It was such a time jump because of time dilation and things like that with space travel. 3,000 years have went by since the ending of Ender's Game. And I hear these references the whole book about things that happened back on Earth after, the end of the first book. And I'm like, I want to know about that stuff, not what we're doing right now. So I think in that regard, I was so curious about what happened during that time period, which I found out is in Ender's Exile, I could actually go back and figure out those things if I want to, because there is the Shadow Saga, which is what I think I'll be angling for towards after this. That's what I'll be going for after this. But with this, I gotta say, look, I want to know more about Peter, what happened with Peter, because he talks about some things in here briefly about what happened with his brother Peter, and it's just like, what? Are you kidding? Well, you're going to just drop that, and I have no idea about how that all happened. So apparently, I can go back and read about those things. The biggest thing for me with this is I wasn't nuts about the church politic and the versus the speakers, the Catholic Church versus the speakers and things like that. That wasn't really exactly what I was hoping for. The first book was very much more military sci-fi, obviously, and this is very much more spiritual, finding yourself, dealing with guilt, your redemption arc, I guess you would say. And a lot of people will say it is a much more philosophical journey for Ender in this. And I can see that. And I can appreciate it. I appreciate those things. It's a character I really did enjoy, obviously, with the first book. And I wanted to know more. And seeing him at this age and it's kind of this stage in his life where he's very much at a crossroads, I can appreciate it. I appreciate what he was doing here. The fact that apparently Orson Scott Card, this was the book he wanted to write, not Ender's Game, but he knew that he couldn't publish this first. And there's a lot of people who will say they like this better than Ender's Game. And I think if you are that type that likes your philosophical sci-fi much more than, the intergalactic war, I think that maybe you probably will like this. I think Sun Eater fans would probably like this quite a bit. However, Ender is the opposite of Hadrian, where Hadrian's got no regrets about what happened. I think that Ender's got all the regrets in the world and all the shame and all the guilt about what happened in Ender's Game. So it's a different series, but I'm saying the style and the politics and thing, I think if you do like the Sun Eater books, you'll probably like where this is going. The biggest question I have about this is Jane, which is kind of like an AI that's Ender's only friend. That's the clear inspiration for Cortana for the Halo games, right? It has to be. There's no way I can imagine that not being the clear inspiration for it. Now, there'll be someone who tells me, actually, Jane was inspired by a novel a decade before this. And that's probably true in sci-fi. But as someone who's played and loves the Halo games, it's just the whole time, this is Cortana, clearly, right? And it was too hard for me not to see it. So I wouldn't be shocked to find out that the people who wrote the Halo games were very much inspired by these books. It's quite possible. They're legendary for a reason. For me, I liked the book a lot. I really, really did. It's nothing like Ender's Game. So to me, I think what I want to do going forward, instead of going in publication order, I'm going to break that rule. Sorry to my buddy Scott, the Bald Booktuber. I'm going to break that rule, and I'm not necessarily going to do chronological order, but I do want to go back and find out what happened after Ender's Game and that stuff before we get to this time jump. So I might be doing a little hybrid reading schedule for it here going forward. But I do want to read, the next couple books, Xenocide and, what is it, Children of something? I forget what it's called. Maybe I'm thinking Children of Dune. I don't know. But I think that comparison that I made was pretty good, is that it feels very much like the difference between Dune and Dune Messiah. Much more if it was we went from Dune to God Emperor of Dune, I think maybe. But it's ridiculously different, but that doesn't make it any less good. It is very good. It's just such a different style of book that it's going to be jarring no matter how prepared you are for it. But I did like it a lot. And the whole thing is, I'm not going forward only because I want to know the stuff that happened before. So that's why I would say I would be going back to the Shadow Saga after this instead of continuing with the Ender Saga. And that's what a lot of people recommended that I do. And you were right.